You ever have one of those flashes of genius, a perfect idea for an online community, only to have your excitement totally drain away the second you see a sign-up form? Well, today, we're going to dive into some new tech that wants to blow that barrier to pieces, and it might just change how we build online spaces forever.
Ugh, right? We've all been there. You have this spark, this amazing idea for a new group, and bam! The first thing you have to do is come up with yet another username and password. It's this universal frustration, and honestly, it's the #1 killer of creative momentum. The people behind this new system have a name for it, the friction problem. You might just call it commitment anxiety. It's that exact moment your creative flow just slams into a wall of text boxes and email confirmations, and that amazing idea you had just a minute ago, poof, it's gone. And that brings us to the main villain of our story today, the sign-up wall. Think of it like a bouncer at a club who demands your ID before you can even peek inside to see if you like the music. It's the gatekeeper that stops so many great ideas dead in their tracks. And this, right here, says it all. Look at the difference. On the left, you've got the old way, that tedious step-by-step slog we all know and hate. But on the right, it's just one step, start building. That's it. It completely flips the entire process on its head. So, what is this new approach? They're calling it the Zero Account Revolution. It's the big new feature in Linkspreed's social networks as a service platform. And the name itself is a pretty bold statement, signaling a huge departure from how things are usually done. So here's the core idea, the Zero Account Launch. What does it actually mean? The bottom line is that mandatory sign-up wall we just talked about is completely gone. You get to build first and then decide if you even want to register later, or, not at all.
Okay, it sounds incredible in theory, but how does it actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at the user journey because it is completely different from anything you've seen before.
The whole process is just ridiculously simple. You click a link and you are immediately inside the builder. No forms, no waiting. You can start defining your brand, adding your content, setting everything up. The focus is 100% on creation, not on your credentials. And only when you're happy with what you've made do you get the option to claim it. No pressure.
So it all boils down to these key principles, and you can see how they directly attack that friction problem. We're talking about true instant prototyping, a laser focus on creating, not filling out forms. It's all designed to keep that initial momentum going, so you build because you're inspired, not because you're already locked into an account. Really, if you want to sum up the biggest value here, it's all about speed, the entire experience. From the moment an idea pops into your head to having a working prototype you can play with, it all happens instantly. No delays, no waiting for confirmation emails, just pure, immediate creation. And according to the folks who built this, it's not just a cool new feature, it's a whole philosophical shift. They're actually calling it a declaration of independence for digital creators, for anyone who wants to build their own space away from the giant monolithic platforms.
This quote from a Linkspreed spokesperson really just hits the nail on the head. The goal here is to make building your own community so incredibly accessible, so frictionless, that it's no harder than the simplest thing we do online every single day.
So who's going to use this? Well, the potential applications are pretty vast. Just imagine private crypto groups launching a new hub in seconds, or a super niche fan community creating their own dedicated space without making everyone sign up. Heck, a company could spin up a new internal tool for a project instantly. The possibilities are huge. Now, the company is using this term Web4 community ownership. I know, it sounds a little bit like marketing jargon, but what they're really getting at is a future where the creators, the people with the ideas, have full control and true independence over their digital spaces. So let's zoom out for a second. What does all this really mean? What does this instant, frictionless future actually unlock for people with an idea, people like you and me? When you boil it all down, this is the ultimate takeaway. That first huge barrier, that sign-up wall that has probably killed millions of creative projects before they even got started, is just gone. This could empower a whole new wave of builders who are always put off by the old way of doing things. And that kind of leaves us with this one big, fascinating question. If all of that friction was removed, if you could literally bring a community to life with a single click, what would you build? What's that one idea you'd finally bring to life? That's the real possibility this whole thing is trying to unlock.